Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today's video is going to be kind of like an updates video slash going over how I feel moving away from my family and yeah, deciding to, I don't want to say start over, but start a new chapter in my life. I decided to make this video because there are a lot of people that I have come into contact with recently and also not so recently that have asked me about my moving experience, how things have been, and also how I feel about being in a new place and any, tips or advice that I have to offer, would be welcomed. So I decided to make a video because I'm thinking like, there has to be other people out there, of course, that are moving, that are going places without their family. And, they may want to know just different opinions and different views and just, hear from someone that's actually going through it, how they feel. Although everyone's going to have a different feeling, everyone's going to have a different perspective. I do find these kind of videos interesting, so I decided to go ahead and create one. So if you are interested in this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into it. I do want to say first off, I am going to be holding the phone while I'm recording, just because I can't find like my little prop to set my phone up on. Plus, I don't really want to waste time looking for it. My kids are doing homeschool right now, so I want to take advantage of this quiet time to record this video. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So I decided to leave my home. I've pretty much, I'm pretty much born and raised in Michigan. I have lived in Ohio for a snippet of my life, but typically, predominantly, I should say, I have been in Michigan. Like I said, born and raised pretty much. Now, I never really, it's my hometown. So yes, it's my home state, excuse me. So yes, I love that aspect of it, but I never just woke up, saying I love staying here. The reason that I love staying in Michigan was simply because it was familiar and also my family and friends were there. Deciding to move many miles away was not an easy choice. It was something that I thought about for years, literally. It was something that I contemplated, that I weighed on a scale. I have children, so I had to take into consideration their feelings, also their schooling, the curriculum differences, that they'll be able to still do homeschooling through the Michigan education link or the Michigan curriculum that they're currently using for homeschool, or if they'll have to be transitioned down here to using their curriculum. I looked at all the different options. I asked my children how they felt about the move. I also asked them if they wanted to continue to do virtual school or if they wanted to go to, school, because some schools are open down here. Most of the schools that I've seen are open here, where in Michigan, they're still doing like a lot of virtual learning. So it was just a lot. I contemplated selling my home. Do I want to sell my house to go back to an apartment? Do I want to sell my home and move right into another home in an area that I'm not too familiar with? What if I don't like the area? What if I want to move and I've already purchased a home here? Is that a smart thing to do? So I went back and forth and weighed a lot of options. That's what I do in a lot of my decisions. But I'm the kind of person where I don't like to take too much time going back and forth, because I found that in my life and in a lot of other people's lives too, and I say a lot of other people's lives too. I do business consultations, and I'm not just speaking as far as personal relations. I'm speaking about business too. A lot of times when you contemplate something for so long and you go back and forth too many times, you tend to talk yourself out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it could be something that's a great choice for you, a great move, but you would never know because you've talked yourself out of doing it. And so what ends up happening in some circumstances, not all, is you begin to be stagnant. Different ideas and different goals that you've had comes up, you get excited, and that excitement passes, because initially when you first have a good idea, that's when the most, in my experience, and also working with some other people, that's where a lot of the adrenaline and the happiness and excitement comes from. If you sit on that idea constantly and you allow your mind to kind of talk you out of it, then sometimes that excitement dies, that anxiety, or not anxiety, but that adrenaline that you had about the idea kind of fades away. And sooner, before you know it, you're in the same place doing the same thing and wondering what would have happened if you took that chance. Not saying this is for everyone, but this is definitely true for some people's experiences, including mine. There have been things that I've sat on for so long, and by the time I wanted to do it, either the opportunity had passed, I just wasn't excited like I used to be, or, I just decided not to go forward with it. Either way, it was a form of me staying stagnant. So what I do now is I weigh up my decisions, I think about it, and everyone's, thinking time is different, but I do not allow myself to talk myself out of decisions that I ultimately feel are best for my family and I. So anyways, I decided to make the move. As far as my family and friends, of course, my family did not want to see me go, which I understood. My family, they were like, hey, you've never been away from us. I don't want you this far. If something happens, if we want to visit, it's going to be long or it's going to be a longer drive or flight. You really don't even have to fly to me because my family are in Michigan. But if they wanted to see me, it's more than just driving, 5 minutes to come to my house. It's going to be a plane ride, a train ride. You're going to have to drive for some hours if you just decide to drive. But it's not going to just be a hop and skip and a jump like it was before. So I was kind of conflicted. I didn't want to make my family sad. I did not want to necessarily leave my family, but there was a side of me that wanted to do something different. I wanted to try something different. I like being down here. One of the reasons that I like being down here is because I love the weather. For me, I have anemia. I'm anemic. And I'm very, very cold easily. So sometimes in my videos, you'll hear like a heater going on in the background because I get very, very cold. Michigan is pretty cold. Not all the time, but a lot of times it is. Also, I don't like snow like that. I know a lot of people look at me crazy when I say that because I am from Michigan, but I have never really been like a snow person. Even as a child, I never just was excited to get out and make a snowman. Now, there were times that I went out and played in the snow, but I never was just excited and souped up to want to go out and get in the cold. I don't necessarily like snow. I don't like shoveling my car, shoveling my driveway. I know I can get people to do it for me, but I just don't like it. Not just that, but I like where I'm staying now, it's a calmness to the environment. Like it's not so much hustle and bustle. I like the kind of country. I don't want to say it's country living because I don't live completely in the country, but I live around the country, if that makes sense. Like it's just peaceful when I'm driving different places. The scenery is nice. And I'm the kind of person where even if the area is new to me, if I don't necessarily like it or feel comfortable, I'm ready to go right back home. So that's when I knew, when I kept coming back here and I kept visiting, I kept seeing different places. I kept, just being in this environment. I knew that this was where I wanted to be. It was just a peaceful feeling. Like I said, I just liked the culture. I liked the weather. I liked everything that I saw. I just didn't like the fact that I was away from my family. As far as having like sad feelings and, feeling like I'm becoming depressed, I haven't yet, I don't want to say I'm not going to, but I have not felt like I am depressed at this point. I have felt times of loneliness, meaning that, or in a sense of, typically if I'm lonely or something, I will call my mom or one of my friends and we'll go out, go to the mall, get our nails done, maybe get something to eat, just get out the house and do something. Here, I don't have any friends yet. So I don't have anyone to call and say, hey, do you want to go out and get something to eat? Or hey, do you want to get your nails done? Or hey, do you want to do this or do that? So when I am out and I see other people together, it kind of sparks memories of what I would do if I was at home with my friends and with my family. So that kind of brings some sadness to me at times. But what I do when I'm experiencing that is I pray frequently, and then I also FaceTime my family. FaceTime has really helped me a lot because it makes me feel like I am still around. We just got out of COVID, or we're still in COVID, but things are starting to lighten back up, open back up. And so I was used to FaceTiming a lot of my family anyways, because I didn't want to go around anyone. And honestly, they didn't want anyone coming around them for the sake of, protection against COVID. So I began to get used to FaceTiming and, calling via video chat. And so that has really helped me. But like I said, I don't have any, it's not anything like I want to go back home like tomorrow. I still have my home in Michigan. It's in the selling process. I thought that it would already have been sold by now, but it's not. It's okay though. My next close date is scheduled for the middle of June. So coming up in a little bit. But I do still have, possession of that home right now. If I wanted to go back and find some other place to live in Michigan, I could do so. But I don't want to do that. I do, like I said, like being down here. What else do I want to say? I do want to go ahead and give you all some tips for those that are considering moving and you may be moving away from family and you're in my position. I do want to say this too. I've never been away from my family. I did not move away to go to college. I did not move away to do anything. I've always stayed right under my family. And so this is a transitioning period for them as well. What I can say is one thing that has helped the process, I think, I can't speak for them, but I think is making sure that you call. Call and text. Now, what I do want to say is that I was calling and texting my family so frequently that it began to be exhausting. Like I would get off the phone with one family member, the next family member would call. I would get done texting someone else would text. I would get done with that, and then my friend would call. And I appreciate all of the calls and texts, but it just began to be a little bit overwhelming. So I would say create a schedule for yourself where you can work and live life and also keep your family engaged in what you're doing, just so that they can feel some comfort. Not, you don't have to give them every single detail and play for play, but I would recommend if you are planning on moving away and, you've been close to your family this whole time, try to keep their feelings in mind. The next thing that I would recommend doing is remember the why. This is something that I tell a lot of business owners when I'm doing consultations. This is something that I keep in my personal and also in my business life. We have to remember the why behind our actions. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? There are people that have even gone to college that I've talked to that said they wanted to leave college and go back home. And they were really near, very close to doing so. But they had to remember their why. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I decide to move? Why did I open this business? Why? What's the why behind what you're doing? And you always have to measure it up. There are going to be things that you do that you are not happy with. For example, when I opened my salon, I kept in mind my why, but it was something that I knew I did not want to continue with. So at that point, I decided to make a plan, pivot my business, pivot my lifestyle for that moment, and continue moving forward with what I needed to do. It's the same with anything in your life. Always remember your why. That will help with the days that you may be feeling down. Hey, I really miss my family. Hey, I really, miss my home. Or hey, I really want to go back and visit right now, but I can't because I'm doing business or because I don't have there's no flights that I can catch right now, or I need car work or whatever the case may be. Just remember the why. Remember the why you're here. That's going to really help. It's helped me. And then also remember that it's normal to miss. It's normal to miss what's normal to you. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's where you need to stay because it feels comfortable or normal. Growth always happens when you push yourself past your comfort zone. Following your dreams is a feeling that I can't describe in a video nor in a book. I can try, but it's something that I truly believe everyone should have the opportunity to feel and experience. And following your dreams doesn't necessarily mean opening a business and that's it, but I mean all the way around. Dream of the life that you want for yourself, where you want to live, and go for it. Like I said, I've had family members tell me, I cannot believe that everything you talked about you wanting, you actually have now. And it's the truth. I give all thanks and glory to God. I'm not looking to have like a mansion right now or a new Lamborghini. I mean, it would be nice. But the goals that I have for my life, I am tackling them. I did not want to stay in Michigan. I did want to sell my home. I do like where I'm at. I always have wanted to run my business and be able to sustain my family from my business income. Everything that I'm doing now is like literally a dream come true. And I just want to encourage everyone out there, like I have done in some other videos, to follow your dreams and to know that when you do things that are not normal, because everyone has a different definition of what their normal is. When you do things that aren't normal to you or aren't comfortable to you for the time being, I want you to have these tips in your back pocket. Another thing that has helped me get, I guess, more acclimated down here in this home is getting out and just checking out the surroundings and trying new things. Even finding a nail salon is exciting to me. Being able to go to different stores and travel to different cities. And down here, it's a lot bigger than where I'm from. So I could literally go everywhere I needed to go within a matter of minutes. I did not have to get on the highway. I did not have to go to different cities for different things. And here I do. So it's really interesting and exciting to find new places and, what city I enjoy shopping at or what city I would love to go to for, my nails and what city I wanted to go to for my hair. Finding things down here is a lot easier, in my opinion. Even for me to get these braids, where I'm from, you would need an appointment. And, you know, there's typically not too many braiding shops. I had a braiding shop opened, like I mentioned a minute ago with my salon, but there's not too many braiding shops that just take walk-ins. There are some, but there's not as many as are down, you know, that's down here. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things that I really, really like that are different. I can say to be prepared to, you know, kind of have like a culture, not culture, but like, what I want to say, maybe it is culture, the word I'm looking for, but shift. I don't want to say shift, but how am I trying to, what word can I say? Because what, you know, sometimes I do miss hearing my accent, or, you know, kind of like, I do miss hearing my lingo and people talking and pronouncing things how I used, you know, how I talk and pronounce. Everyone, I didn't think I had an accent, but everyone has a slight accent based on who you've been around, where you live, and things like that. And sometimes you don't notice it until you get around a new place and people point it out to you, and then you start to hear and you're like, wow. You know, for example, down here, they say soda. I say pop. So when I was saying pop, they're like, you're not from here, are you? No, I'm not. For me, you know, I say cart. A lot of people down here say buggy. So when I was looking for a cart, they're like, a cart? Oh, you mean the buggy. So there's different things that are different depending on where you move. And so sometimes, you know, I do feel like, man, I just miss being around and saying words like that I typically say. Now it's not, you know, too bad to the point that, you know, I can't figure out what's what. It's still the same language that we're speaking. It's just a different, it's just different lingo. It's a different swag. It's a different environment. It's different cooking styles. There's a lot of things. So that's something, you know, and when I do meet people that are from Michigan that are here, it's like we kind of have like this bond, like, oh, yay, finally someone that's from where I'm from. But, you know, like I said, this is all expected. It's just a matter of adjusting. And people that do well in life are people that are able to adjust to different surroundings and to different circumstances. And also to different career choices, whether your career is going to be your business or your job. One thing that they look for, when I say they, I'm referring to a lot of sales managers and hiring managers that I worked for, and also when I was a hiring manager for my salon and also for different sales positions, I would look for someone that was easily adaptable, that easily could adapt to changes. So you know, that's something that it's always great to want to challenge yourself and want to try something new. But those are, you know, kind of some of the tips, I guess, that I would have if you are considering moving away. Just be prepared to, you know, kind of miss where you're from. But as long as you have decided that this is what you want to do, and all, you know, and as long as you know that nothing's in stone, you can change anything. Nothing's ever in stone. I think you should go ahead and go for it. I'm trying to think of anything else that I would say as far as moving, how I felt, how my family felt, my friends. Besides the missing part and just getting used to being somewhere different, I would also say do your research before coming. That's something that I did. Research the different areas, see what areas are safe, see what areas are good for the schools that you're interested in sending your children to. See what you want, you know, like what's in the area of what I'm looking for. Before, when I was considering moving like 2 years ago, I was just looking at different apartments and houses, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just move there because I like that apartment or like that house. And then when I really got serious, I decided to look at the areas and look at what was in the area and if it was worth moving to that area, if the area was safe and things like that. So do your research before you come. Expect to miss. Keep the why in the forefront of your mind. FaceTime and video chat your family and friends. That's really going to help. That helps to me more than sometimes phone calling and texting. You do want to give your family and friends updates, maybe not every day, because like I said, I did get exhausted doing that, but very frequently, just to keep them involved and to keep that relationship tight. And then just be open to different, you know, things are going to be different. But again, if you keep the why in your mind, then, you know, like I said, that has been proven to help me. So I really hope that this video helped. I just wanted to kind of do like an updates video and give some tips on, you know, moving away from family and friends. So if you have any questions or any experiences similar that you'd like to share on this platform, again, we're all family. We all share our experiences and advice and things like that. Feel free to leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.